In a quiet countryside nestled between golden meadows and whispering trees, lived an old, gray cat named Whiskers. He had spent most of his life on the farm napping under sunbeams, greeting the farmers' children and watching seasons change like clockwork. But now, in his twilight years, he moved slowly and often sat by the fence, watching the horizon as if waiting for something or someone. One chilly evening, as the wind blew softly and the stars peeked out, a faint, pitiful whimper caught Whiskers' attention. It was weak, almost lost in the wind, but for Whiskers, it was a sound that couldn't be ignored. He stood up, his joints aching, and followed the sound through the grass. What he found would change both their lives forever. Whiskers pushed through the tall grass and found a tiny puppy Muddy, shaking and bleeding from a wound on his paw. His ears were drooped, eyes full of fear and pain. Whiskers sat a few feet away, not wanting to scare him. The pup looked up. He tried to bark, but it came out as a squeak. Whiskers slowly approached, his tail held low and friendly. The pup flinched, but then paused. This creature wasn't threatening. In fact, his eyes looked warm and kind. Whiskers gently sniffed the pup, then nudged him with his head. He started licking the wound clean, slowly and carefully. That night, Whiskers didn't return to the barn. He stayed with the pup under the open sky, sharing his warmth and curling around him as protection. He groomed the little dog, cleaned his injury, and purred softly a lullaby in the darkness. Over the next few days, Whiskers stayed by the pup's side. He brought bits of food from the barn and led the pup to a nearby puddle for water. The poo-poo, Whiskers began calling Patch due to the brown patch on his eye, started walking slowly again. Patch was clumsy and curious, and Whiskers became a mentor. He taught Patch to avoid the thorn bushes, how to sense danger in the wind, and even how to listen to the birds for signs of weather changes. Patch grew stronger with each passing day. But something more beautiful happened. He grew more trusting. The puppy, who once trembled with fear, now wagged his tail excitedly at the sight of Whiskers. Whiskers, who had grown old and tired, now walked taller. His steps had purpose again. For the first time in years, his heart felt full. They were an unlikely pair, but they had become family. One afternoon, the sky turned dark. A storm was coming. The animals on the farm began to scatter toward shelter. Whiskers nudged Patch toward the barn, but the wind howled louder. Just as they reached the gate, a sudden branch snapped from a nearby tree and fell, pinning Whiskers to the ground. Patch barked wildly, ran in circles, panicked. Whiskers meowed in pain but motioned with his eyes. Go. Run. But Patch didn't run. He stayed. He began barking louder, over and over. His cries pierced the storm. The farmer's son, Jack, heard the noise from the house and rushed out with a lantern. Following the sound, Jack found the soaked puppy beside the injured cat. Whiskers! Patch! With quick hands, he lifted the branch and cradled Whiskers in his arms. He looked at Patch. Good boy, you saved him. That night, the three of them dried off in the warm kitchen. The storm raged outside, but inside, kindness had built its own shelter. After that night, everything changed. Patch officially became part of the family. He and Whiskers shared a basket, meals, and walks around the farm. Jack built a little wooden sign and painted Whiskers Patch's Corner above their cozy resting spot in the barn. Whiskers wasn't just a cat anymore. He was a hero. The farmer's wife made him a small medal with a paw print on it. Jack started taking Patch to school for kindness show and telling the story of how an old cat saved a puppy and how the puppy returned that kindness when it mattered most. Word of their story spread beyond the farm. The local newspaper even ran a piece. Whiskers, Patch, the tale of unlikely friendship. People who read it were moved. Many said it made them believe in kindness again. Whiskers spent his last seasons in comfort, love, and peace, knowing his act of kindness had created a ripple effect. Whiskers eventually passed on one sunny morning, resting under his favorite apple tree. The whole farm mourned, and even Patch refused to eat for a day. But Patch grew up with Whiskers' spirit. He became the farm's gentle guardian, kind to ducklings, patient with the baby goats, and loyal to Jack. One afternoon, Jack sat beside Patch and whispered, "You know, buddy, Whiskers taught us all something. Kindness isn't about how big or strong you are. It's about what you choose to do when someone needs you." Patch licked Jack's cheek and barked onto softly, as if to say, "I remember." Moral: kindness has the power to change lives, heal wounds, and build unbreakable bonds. Whether you're young or old, small or big, your actions matter. In a world full of noise, a gentle act can echo forever.